What I do want...
One summer morning, one of the women said she'd seen Lindsay take an extra piece of cheese. Lindsay said she needed it for little Robin, but that didn't stop the row.
Why shouldn't she have more?
I don't eat vanilla, but you can't then turn around and say
you're just fitting in to eat it.
I'm not eating. I didn't say it. No, I said to you this morning. I said I didn't like meat. I gave it meat up for moral and religious reasons, the same reasons practically as what you gave it up for. And since I've been here, I found it difficult to eat it at first, and I don't mind it because I spent such a long time telling myself this is flesh. I don't want to eat it, and so I came here and had to say this isn't flesh. I've got to start eating it again because there isn't anything else to eat. And it was difficult at first, but because I don't mind, I ate meat until I was 21 or whatever it was, 20 or 21 anyway. I don't mind the taste of meat. It was for different reasons that I didn't eat it.
She's allowed to like the taste, and having decided
I don't mind the taste.
Well,
but
having decided
I don't
to
think
eat
it's
it
very
here,
fair then.
Having decided
Do
to
you,
eat it
for
here,
Sharon
you
to
can't
say
throw in
then
her
that
face.
it's
She had 5 helpings.
trying to
It's
fit
not
in that
logical for a
she's
start.
doing it.
Lindsay found herself unable to eat meat, which makes Arne's life very, very hard. On the other hand, there were Sharon had been a vegetarian for a long, long time, but decided to try and live the Iron Age life and managed to do it. But there was an inevitable tension then between Sharon, who wanted to, who would have preferred not to be eating meat, but felt she needed to, and Lindsay, who felt she couldn't eat meat. So Sharon was faced every day and every mealtime with a vegetarian who was sticking to being a vegetarian, and that conflict is great.
Having decided to eat it, it doesn't matter how much or how little she eats. It's not important.
It was I'm saying if you were...
It's wrong to use it as an argument why somebody else should eat it.
It's not. We're not.
I'm not. Yeah, you've missed the point again.
No, you've missed it again.
I think it's worth saying that unlike the impression you get from a lot of modern reality TV programmes, we were selected in order to try to produce a stable group. So that is why the decision was taken to have couples, not single people, because it was felt that we would be more stable that way. And we were chosen in order to be people who would be able to get on with each other, rather than people who would spark conflict right from the start. So conflict was something that occurred occasionally, accidentally, not it wasn't built into the design of the programme.
The Great Wicker Man, the prehistoric original of Guy Fawkes, was erected on the 31st of October for the Celtic festival of Samhain, which later became the Christian Halloween and is now all mixed up with Bonfire Night. The villagers were determined to have a proper pagan festival.
We'd started making the Wicker Man, collecting the stuff, a whole month beforehand, because we reckon it was a pretty big project that would take quite a time. We decided that if it was going to look at all impressive, we'd got to make it at least 12 feet high, and in the end it turned out 15 feet high. Then when we'd stuffed it with straw and bits of wood, in fact it was so heavy that we could only just get it up. In fact, when we started putting it up, we thought we wouldn't be able to. But it was just the limits of what we could manage, which was quite pleasing.
In a little symbolic masque which they devised for themselves, the villagers enacted the ritual death of the sun god, Levada.
Burn him! 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 Burn him!
Burn him! Burn him!
Burn him! Burn him!
Burn him! Burn him! Burn him! Burn! Burn! Burn!
No, not that one, this one. Where?
The Wicker Man Festival was fantastic. We decided to make a Wicker Man, and we were very good at managing with Hazel And we just thought, well, this has to be big. So we carried on and we carried on, and he got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was in the autumn, and we'd harvested a lot of elderberries. We had our honey, we made elderberry wine, and we had lots of it. And what we did, because we had a sparsity of luxuries, rather than have a little bit every now and then, we'd save it up for a festival. So we had a large amount of elderberry wine, and there was lots of fire and lots of flame, and it was a great night.
You want a bit of this, Nick?
What? They're not bigger, but seeds will be tough.
Oh, yes, I'll have that, Pete. No entertainment.
Let's have a brawl. Come on, a brawl. Let's have it proper.
When you live a life which is in the same place doing a similar thing every day, a sort of agricultural milking the cows type of life, a festival every few months is something that you really look forward to. You have a big bonfire, you kill an animal, you do things you don't do, you play a few party games. Works well.
I never touched you.
Yeah, I'd do now if I were you, Greg.
Yeah, you missed it.
Looking back at the programme all these years later, we do look slightly silly, I think, but at the time it was great fun, and it was very important to have some levity and fun in our day.
It was the Ainsworths' concern for their children which finally prompted their departure. One of the younger boys fell ill. It wasn't serious, but Pete and Lindsay felt they'd be happier if he was at home. So one November day, they prepared to rejoin the outside world.
You have to wear thick socks for these.
Two shoes.
Oh, they're really tight.
Just be first.
Most of the others got on with their work as if nothing very much was happening.
Yeah. Don't get too drunk.
Right, tell us what you're doing now.
Yes.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
do. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Cheerio, Pete. Cheerio. Are you coming, Rob? Go on, then.
I felt a great sense of sadness when the Ainsworth family left, from the point of view of, we'd started out together. The aim of the project had been to be successful as an entire group. It was important to have children there to give the age range for so many reasons, really. So there was a sense of sadness and failure that we hadn't managed to do that.
Right. Bye-bye, then.
Cheers, then.
Cheerio.
Go.
It was a big change when they left. There were tensions with the family, and at the time the Ainsworths were the only parents, and now the rest of the group have had the experience of being parents. And I think looking back on it, we were probably not very tolerant towards the difficulties of bringing up young children, in particular in that environment, than I think we would be today.
As the year's project drew to a close, it was time to get an outside assessment of the success of the venture. Professor Barry Cunliffe of Oxford University asked about every aspect of the project.
But what about the burnt flints? How do you think they can have come about? Because, they're found in vast quantities.
Well, what sort of quantities? Because every time you light a fire in a pit, if the soil's flinty, some of the flints fall in, and then so we make charcoal in these pits like this.
Yeah.
And then you take the charcoal out, and at the bottom you've got charcoal mixed with flint, so you fling it all out because it's no good leaving it in the bottom. Next time you do it, and more flints fall in, and you throw more flints out.
And these came about from your making charcoal?
Yes. There's some I've just pulled out of the side of the pit.
Yes.
You can see the ones that are still earth on one
Yep.
side and burnt on the other.
Yep.
And the others were ones that had been thrown out from a previous charcoal burn.
Yeah. For me, it was a completely unnerving experience just now to walk around the enclosure, because as an archaeologist, I deal with the debris, the detritus of other people's lives, their rubbish. And what I noticed particularly was the rubbish and the remains of activities, the charcoal burning and things of this sort. And it made me think about activity in a way in which, with all the will in the world, I don't think I've ever thought about it before. So in just pure personal terms, I will never be able to look at an archaeological site in the same light again. I shall go around now and think, it's simply broadened my vision of what is possible and range of explanation.